In this video, let's take a look at the Bond Arms Derringer. So this right here is a double-barreled pistol here. It has a lever right here to release the barrels, and it pivots at the top. You can see both of the barrels there. They've got the rifling. It's a pretty well manufactured or well machined chunk of metal here, like no machining marks really. And it's got a crossbolt safety that's nicely labeled, so you don't have to wonder which direction it goes. For me, sometimes it can be a little confusing. I guess most crossbolts, including this one, are usually designed with a right-hand shooter in mind, so you push it with your thumb with your kind of firing grip for it to work. But this one takes the question out of it because it is nicely labeled. This is single action only, so you have to cock it for every shot. And it's a little bit difficult for me anyway to cock this mechanism. It's pretty stiff. So maybe it's a little easier if you use your other hand to cock it. Or if you have bigger hands than I am, it's a little stronger hands, it might be a little bit easier. And I think this gun might be marketed towards people with bigger hands because there are a lot of smaller guns than this one that hold more rounds, and for me are a little bit more intuitive. Like this one doesn't have a front sight on it, so that makes it a little bit challenging, I would think, to aim it. Just for a comparison here, let me show you some of the other little guns. So like here's a North American Arms Mini-Revolver right here, and you can see that the North American Arms Mini-Revolver is about the same length as this gun, about the same exact length, and it's smaller in the other dimensions. If you look at the thickness, it's pretty close. I'm not sure, maybe the cylinder might be slightly thicker than the grips, but I don't know, it's really close. And this holds 5 rounds of 22 versus this stubby in 22 only holds 2. Then you also have the Kel-Tec P32 right here, and it's just barely longer, but the difference in size really isn't too much between them. The thickness is maybe even thicker on the grips of the Bond Arms, and this is 7+1 here. This gun weighs about 10 ounces fully loaded with 7+1. This gun right here weighs around like 5.25 ounces fully loaded with 5 rounds. This gun being unloaded, it's gonna come on my scale here at 15.25 ounces, and that's unloaded. Again, my Mini-Revolver here, it's coming in at 5.2 at the moment with its 5 rounds to go. So I don't know, for me, I like this one. It's more practical, but for me, I have small hands. It's got a really small grip, but with practice, you can get pretty good at it. This one definitely has a more filling grip, but the hammer is actually a lot more difficult for me. Like this one is actually pretty easy to cock for me, and it's quick for me to shoot all 5 rounds with it. So this one though, I mean, it has like gambler aesthetic. It's cool looking. It's retro. There's some cool things about it, but I don't know. If you have a good reasoning why you might prefer this gun over the other ones, I'd be interested to hear what you have to say in the comments. Thanks. Oh, and one last thing. This right here is to get your brass out of your chambers. You just push this right here, and it causes your brass to be removed from your chambers, and you could, in theory. So